So these are some case studies I just thought I would share with you just visually, right? You can see with your eyes, you don't have to know anything about the product, that something is going on when people use this tool. So here's a patient, this is March 7th of 2020, puts a patch on every day. 6 weeks later, I mean, obviously the hair regenerated. There is something about stimulating the GHK peptide pathway that accelerates wound healing of the skin, hair follicles. I'm just quoting from the research I shared with you a minute ago. So you saw the research and now you see the evidence. I mean, I would suggest if you could make, I mean, if a supplement could make your hair grow back like this, I mean, you would hear about it on Dr. Oz. It'd be everywhere. It'd be like, people would be, be like Black Friday at the market to try to get your hands on this stuff, right? I mean, people spend a lot of money trying to regrow hair. So here's something that does it from the inside out by working on stem cell pathways. That's a pretty cool little case study. Dermatologically, cosmetically, here's another case study. This woman had the foresight to say, hey, I'm starting on day one. Here I am about 6 weeks in, and here I am a year later. And you can just see there's a different brightness. There's a different tone to the skin. And it's not a procedure. It's not a surgery. It's none of that. It's just GHK peptides have been shown, again, I'm quoting the research, to tighten loose skin and improve elasticity, skin density, and firmness, etc. You can read that right there. I mean, it's just what the research says, and then you can see it in front of you with your own eyes. So this was part of my education as I got into it. I was like, man, there's legit research. There's about 500 published studies on GHK copper peptides. The information is pretty incredible. And now here's some case studies. So as I go, I'm going to show you a couple more that get a little more, I don't know, what I would say is more profound. So you've seen some hair, you've seen some skin, that's great, doc, blah, blah, blah. But let's see what else profound changes can happen from the GHK peptide pathway, okay? So this one is a big influence on me because as a chiropractor, I'm treating people with thoracic outlet syndrome and radiculopathy and neurological problems, disc bulges all the time. It's part of our practice. We help them. And if there's a tool out there that helps them even more than what I do, well, then I want to know about it, right? So here's a patient in November 2018. Here's this person's MRI. And you can see this is an MRI. The spinal cord's right there where my cursor is. You can see disc bulges at the C5 disc. Looks like the C6 and C7 are fused. I'm not sure if they were born that way, if that was post-surgical. And then you have the C7 disc pushing out into the cord pretty hard too. I mean, this is pain. This is suffering, guys. And this is a neurological surgery. I mean, that's literally all that the world has to offer us is, hey, operate. This person decided to go a different path. He started working with patches back in 2018. And about a year and a half later, he has another MRI. And the differences are incredible, right? So just paying attention, you can see the labels here. And I've highlighted it for you. So this is the C4 disc. Here's C5. It was bulging over in November. Now back in April of 2020, you can see it's cleaned itself right up. You can see the C7 bulge has, you really can barely see any bulge there at all versus this one that was almost going halfway across the cord. And again, the surgeon himself was like, hey man, it's a miracle, and he hasn't seen stuff like that very often in his career, and I bet he hasn't. Because most people just say, hey, it hurts, let's cut it. But I admire people who, are willing to try a different experiment to see how that works. So this is what the GHK peptide, the stem cell activating patches did for this individual. Now, the next picture I'm going to show you is gross. So I'm just going to give you a warning if you're, eating some, some stir-fried rice or having some dinner, put your food down, wipe your mouth clean, step away from the table, because what I'm about to show you isn't that pleasing to the eye. Okay, you've been warned. But it's a great case study. That's why we're doing it, for the sake of science, okay? So this is a sore on a man's back, and he's in his mid-50s, and he has something wrong with his back. You don't have to be a doctor to know that that's a problem. It's an open wound, it's a sore on his back for years. No amount of antibiotics, corticosteroids, or any kind of medical treatment. They can't find anything wrong in his tests. The body can't heal it, but there's nothing they can figure out that's wrong. That's a sufferfest. Okay, imagine carrying that around on you all the time. His brother gets into the stem cell activating patches and knows that they can help with skin repair and wound healing. Says, hey, John, just try the patches for a month and see what happens, right? What does this guy have to lose? That's where he starts. So he starts putting a patch on every day, and you wear the patches from the morning till the evening, and you take them off. You wear them about 12 to 14 hours. They literally just stick on your skin. I'll show you a couple pictures, and that's it. But this guy puts them on day one. Now, what he says is, as soon as he started wearing the patch, the skin started to hurt. So it's kind of numb. It kind of when you have a big, nasty, dysfunctional part of your body that your body can't heal, it's like having a room in your house that you can't clean or you can't fix. So if you can't fix it, for whatever reason, you don't have enough life force, enough vitamins, enough nutrition, there's not enough blood flow, whatever the thing is, your body will like wall that off. It'll just throw up some 2x4s, put some, drywall up, texture it, paint it, and just hope that nobody accidentally knocks that wall down and finds a big gross mess back there. Well, that's kind of what his body did. If your body can't heal something, it'll just ignore it. But as he started to wear the patches for the first few days, it began to hurt again, which is actually a good sign that healing is starting. It means the body's paying attention again. And all the dead skin began to, unfortunately, rot and fall away. So he kept wearing them day after day, and in about 2.5 weeks, he was right here on the left hand of your screen. Now, I'll admit, that still doesn't look very appetizing. That's pretty disgusting. But what you see is healing taking place. The redness is gone, the swelling's gone. You can see that the skin is repairing itself, the connective tissue. The connective tissue is repairing itself. And that is exactly what GHK peptides do. That's what stem cell activating patches are designed to do. And about 4 weeks later, after a month of wearing the patches, look at where this gentleman ended up. It blew my freaking mind when I saw this. Guys, I've seen miracles in practice, from having people go to counseling, from giving them chiropractic adjustments, from working on hiatal hernias, from ileocecal valves, from detoxing, from herbs, from doing organic acid tests. Everything that I've shared with you, that we've poured our life into over the last 8 years, it all works. It all works. But if something works like this, you got to just tell me more, man. I got to find out more information, because this is something I think could help my patients, right? And it can help you. So that's incredible healing, right? So my thought is, again, bodies build, they will quadrant something off. They'll if something can't get fixed, your body will try to ignore it, and it'll try to it'll encapsulate it and try to leave it alone and hope that maybe tomorrow there'll be a better healing opportunity. They can take care of it then. But what I think happened in this case is, wearing the X39 patches that you're about to learn about and activating the GHK peptide pathway, more stem cells were made in this man's body, and those stem cells were directed by the body's intelligence right where the problem was, and they started to repair and to heal. And that's the power of the body. The body can heal itself. Every doctor worth their salt knows that. They used to say that the doctor amuses the patient while the patient's body heals itself. There's some truth to that. But if we can speed that process up, let's figure out how we can do that. That can help people. So this is a really simple idea, guys. It's a simple product. You literally wear a little patch, just like she has, on the base of your neck or under your navel. And like I said, you wear it in the morning, and you wear it for around 12 hours, and you take it off and throw it in the trash. The next day you put another one on. That's how the process works. And while you wear it, your body heats it up. And there's nothing chemical in the patch. There's no magical compounds or chemicals crossing into your skin. There's nothing like that happening. In fact, the only thing going from this patch into your body is a wavelength of light. All right? It is just that basic. Your body warms the patch up as you wear it. The patch, it has a special crystal matrix embedded in polyester, and the patch then reflects a specific wavelength of vibration, a tuned wavelength back onto the skin right underneath the patch. And it's that specific wavelength that triggers the cells under the patch to activate GHK. Well, you just learned about it with me, right? I've been spending weeks pouring over this stuff. I'm sharing with you my best stuff. But this patch, when worn during the day, will activate GHK, which activates your stem cells. Then your body, in its intelligence will push the stem cells around to where they're needed, and you'll benefit somehow. We've been using this with dozens and dozens of patients. People report better sleep. That's one of the main things they say. They say they have more energy. I have a patient who has a diagnosis of some form of dementia. It's really kind of sad. It doesn't meet the it's not mad cow disease. It's not Alzheimer's. It's not Parkinson's, but it's called multiple systems atrophy. And this individual wakes up, can barely get himself dressed, can't do chores, doesn't help his wife out. I mean, he's kind of he doesn't do much when he's in this, and when he's unhealthy. He has some breakfast, has a cup of coffee, sits in a chair. A couple hours later, he falls asleep, naps for a few hours, wakes up, puts around, has lunch, goes back to sleep, sleeps, watch movies, watch TV, doesn't really interact. And this is his life. It's really sad. He sleeps like 15 hours a day. So I know his wife. Sweet person. She's a saint. Imagine having to take care of somebody like that, right? I mean, it's a burden. So I mentioned, hey, try these patches. I gave her a few to try. She goes home on a Saturday morning, puts a patch on this guy right at the base of his neck, and I'm telling you, he's got this. He's diagnosed medically, multiple systems atrophy. They just tell her, hey, he's just going to get worse. Just deal with it. That's all we can do. So he puts a patch on. They have company over. He gets out of his chair right in the morning and stands up and talks to people, walks around the house for like 5 hours. She couldn't get him to shut up. Right? He literally didn't nap all day long and was starting to participate in the house, starting to help out with chores and do little projects, starting to act like a normal, healthy 72-year-old. Next day she woke up, gave him a patch, same thing, got out of bed, didn't fall back asleep, up and active, started to move around, get some exercise, walk around the block. I mean, he's seeing some change. Same thing on the third day. Now on the fourth day, she's busy, forgets to give it to him, and then boom, right back to his old pattern. Wakes up, putts around after breakfast, has some coffee, sits in his favorite chair, and falls back asleep. That's no way to live, okay? So they got excited, and they've been on it now for several weeks, and it's made a permanent change for this guy. I mean, he gets up out of bed, he doesn't sleep during the day, he's interacting, he's talking to his daughters and his grandkids, he's out walking and exercising. I mean, for just putting a patch on your skin to see that stuff change, I'm telling you what, guys, I've never seen anything so easy to help people, right? I mean, coffee enemas and big detoxes, they help people, but they're kind of hard to follow, and they're kind of expensive. So if you can find something that's really affordable, that makes a difference, that works on stem cells, it's kind of a no-brainer, okay? Who should use them? Well, probably at least 4 people in this picture, right? Raising kids is stressful. Nobody works harder than stay-at-home moms. I don't care what your job is. I've talked to thousands of people. Stay-at-home moms are just the hardest working humans in the world. It's really hard to raise kids all by yourself and just deal with them all day long. We love them, but man, it's hard. Anybody says otherwise, it's crazy. But anyway, the patches should be used by pretty much anybody. Okay, they're safe. Again, first, do no harm. We really ascribe to that principle. There's no other animals being harmed. We aren't harvesting stem cells from an unethical source. You're just making your own, using a wavelength of light in your own body heat. It's brilliantly simple, and it works, guys. I'm telling you, this stuff has made a difference to my patients' lives.